What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So, Michigan State basketball continues their West Coast road trip with the final game at Oregon on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock on FS1. Now, Michigan State obviously coming in off of that win against Washington and Seattle on Saturday, which was a really good game in which one of your best players in Jackson Kohler did not play the best game, still able to go on the road, West Coast, and get a big-time win in that one. Start out the trip 1-0. Now, when you look at Oregon coming into this game, overall 4 straight Big Ten losses overall. Here leading up, some of them have been close. There was a pretty big blowout in there to Nebraska a couple games ago, but listen, they're in a tough stretch overall right now in terms of definitely their schedule. They played their 4-game losing streak started at Rutgers. That was a tough 3-point loss, a 10-point loss at home against Ohio State. Had to go on the road to Nebraska. We know how tough a place that is to play. A 90-55 loss in that one, but did hang tough with that school down the road. Only a 10-point loss in that one. When you look back earlier this year, they also played Auburn close, which, I mean, at the time they were ranked 21st, but in my opinion, Auburn's not that impressive this year overall, but that was a 11-point loss in that one. Overall, same thing can be said about Gonzaga. At the time, number 7, only a 9-point loss in that one. So, overall, they've, pretty much all year they've played teams tight, but they're coming into this game 8-10 overall, only 1-6 in the Big Ten. Now, before we do jump into this game, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there. We'll have more Michigan State basketball content on the channel, so just make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a video. So, we're going to start here for Oregon with their 2 main guys and their names that you'll remember from last year in this matchup last year. But both of them, I believe, will both not be playing, dealing with some injuries right now. So having your top 2 guys dealing with injuries is definitely tough. Nate Biddle, remember him from last year, but this year doing a lot of the same stuff. 16 points, 7 rebounds on the year. And then Jackson Shellstad, 16 points, 5 assists on the year. Both of them are currently banged up. Trying to find some stuff. Looks like they probably won't be playing, but I guess you never know. Not super tapped into that stuff, obviously, with Oregon. But just from what I could find, seems like they both won't be available for this game. Next up is Kwame Evans Jr., forward for them. Averages about 13 points, 8 rebounds. Really impressive from that wing position for them. Shoots at 34% overall from 3. A decent amount of shots so far from there on the year. Takai Simpkins, should I say, about 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists on the year, 37% from 3. A decent volume from 3 for him as well. So that's a solid there. Sean Stewart. 7 points and 6 rebounds on the year. Wee Lin gives you about 7 points as well. You move down. Oregon, not one of the highest scoring teams, about 75 points a game, about 38 rebounds a game. You're losing quite a bit of that with Nate Biddle, though, as well. 15 assists. You're losing your top assist guy in Jackson Shellstad if he doesn't play in this one. 6 steals, 4 blocks overall. Do turn it over about 13 times a game, but they shoot it a little bit on the low side, 43% from the field, 71% from the free throw line, 34% from 3 overall. And when you look at them overall, we talked about some of those numbers, the 3-point percentage. That's 30, like we said, about 34%. That's about 205th in the country. 2-point percentage, 209th in the country. Defensively, kind of middle of the pack. Overall, 3-point defense, 158th, 132nd. 2-point defense overall. A 3-point rate, 100th for them. Assist rate, 53rd in the country. Decent there, but as I said, you're losing your main guy in terms of ball handling. Assist rate in Jackson Shellstad if he's not available in this one. Turnover percentage, as we said, they're 263rd, 13 turnovers a game. That's on the higher side. Michigan State, not too far off there. They're about 12. 12.3. So, with a few rounding there, around the same there. But overall for Michigan State, what looking for in this one, especially if Nate Biddle's not available, is just look to attack the paint. Michigan State actually got beat in point paints against Washington, which they do have a very talented, their big guy that they had. They were talented in the paint, a couple of them down there for Washington. But in this one, getting back in the paint, even, Jackson Kohler, as we talked about, struggled in the Washington game and wasn't really struggling. And this isn't like a diss or anything at Washington. But it wasn't really anything that they were doing. He was just missing shots. He had, some pretty good looks and looks that he usually gets and that he usually knocks down. And he just didn't in that one. So you give Washington credit for some of the job that they did on him in that one, but a lot of it was him just missing shots. And he's been one of the hotter shooters, not just on Michigan State, not just in the Big Ten, but in the country overall. We're shooting over 50% from three on the year. Currently, after last game, dipped a little bit, but he's still at 48%, which is absolutely incredible, especially when he is your second leading 3-point attempt taker on the team. Kurt Tang has taken 77. Jackson Kohler has taken 69. So would just like to get going, as we said, attack the paint. And even Carson Cooper last game had a pretty good game overall, and had quite a few buckets on offense. But a lot of that was, as I said, he was comfortable in the mid-range, kind of, outside of the free throw line, even, going down on the wing, like extended over there. So like to just get back into the paint, especially if Nate Biddle, he's an incredible player. We saw that last year. Get into the paint, getting those lobs, Jeremy to Carson lobs, but then also like to kind of reestablish the post play for Jackson Kohler. Like he's still, and that was something that he was known for early in his career, is being incredible on the block, like post moves player. But when teams do double down, he has a tendency to turn it over. So I would like to try to get him, back to feeling, get back to feeling defenses a little bit better on the post. And getting some productive buckets out of there. I do think the pick and pop game with Jackson Kohler is some of, if not the best stuff that Michigan State currently runs, but do want the ability to throw the ball in the post to Jackson, him to do a couple post moves, get it going. And there's been games that he's, had some good situations like that, and he's just, shot it short or whatnot, just missed the shot. So like to see that in this one, just kind of getting that back established in this one, if you can try to take advantage of that if possible. And then that one, and same thing with Carson Cooper, taking advantage, as we said, those lobs as well. Cohen Carr, I think he's been solid. A couple games ago, we saw that solid scoring output, but I don't think, like, I kind of talked about it last game where Michigan State, the beginning, to middle part of this year was, looking for that, it had to be either Jeremy or it had to be Cohen. One of them had to become a threat on the offensive side of the ball. And we've seen Jeremy kind of emerge as that the last, handful of games, really since the Nebraska game, really searching for his shot as well, and still looking and getting his assist that he can. So he's kind of emerged as that. So now Cohen can just kind of slide into the role that I think is perfect for him, taking advantages of obviously those fast breaks and opportunities. But then when he does get the opportunity, we've seen him confidently the last couple of games step into that, kind of dribble, elbow, pull up. We've seen him kind of dribble down, slowly take his defender into the post, get to a post move. Would like to see him do that and finish more at the rim. But we've seen that a good amount the last couple games, and I think that's a good play for him. And then also, too, last game, I believe he was just 1 for 1 from three. Like, we know about the 3-point stuff right now with Cohen and the way teams are going to play him on the 3-point line. But, this is kind of what we were talking about at the beginning of the year. If he can knock down 1, maybe 2 a game, but I would, at this point right now, even if you're just taking 1 and he's getting those comfortable little 2 dribble in, pull up mid-range 2s, then I think that's a plus for the team. And then you saw it, if the flow is right and everything's going good, maybe he's hit 1 or 2 of those mid-range shots, then, he has a wide open shot. Hey, take that 3. And like last game, one of them went down. A couple games ago, he hit 1 as well. So, yes, taking those advantages. But the biggest thing for Cohen, too, is continuing to attack the glass. He's averaging 5 rebounds a game, which I think is solid. Would like to see that number come up a little bit because I think he can get more. Obviously, a lot of the boards are taken by Jackson, Carson, yes, but I think he can help grab some more of those boards, especially, and some of the ones that he is getting too, those offensive boards, the long rebounds off, say, a missed 3 or whatnot. But overall, I'll say the same thing. It's been a broken record for a couple weeks. At this point, it's probably not going to change as of right now, but I still believe that we should swap Devine and Kerr for the starting lineup for the reasons that I've laid out for the last couple weeks, so I'm not going to go through all of them, but just want Devine running the second unit. I think he's been really, really solid this year, and getting back to that running kind of the second unit and using him to run that second unit, I think will just help provide a better start for Michigan State. And Kerr Tang over the last handful of weeks has been really solid. We've saw his scoring output, come up quite a bit. I mean, he's averaging about 8 points a game now. I think his shooting percentages is getting, a little bit better, gradually getting better. And I think the defense and rebounding and all that stuff, I think that has been solidly improving. There's still a ways to go in all this stuff, but I want to see him back in the starting lineup for me personally going into this one. But we'll see. I kind of think they'll probably stay with Devine there. But and also the freshmen, can they continue that? They've been incredible, for a good amount of the season. Last game, especially too, they were really big, especially on the road. This one too, another big time road game in a tough road environment. Overall, like to see those freshmen step up again too. But yeah, that's kind of where we're looking at for this one here on Tuesday night. Now, Bart Torvik has Oregon, number 74th overall team here in the country. 73rd adjusted efficiency offense, 98th adjusted efficiency defense overall. Now, switching it over to the Michigan State side, Bart Torvik still has Michigan State at number 12. AP poll has Michigan State at number 10 currently. 60th adjusted efficiency offense, starting to creep back up. Adjusted efficiency defense still sitting solid at number 2. Now, Bart Torvik has this as a 72-65 Michigan State win. Now, this is a big one on Tuesday night. If you can finish out this road trip 2-0, you come home to a home game on Saturday against Maryland. Just peeking ahead to that one. You're double-digit favorites in that one. You go on the road to Rutgers. So you got 2 games against 2 teams that have struggled so far this year. Double-digit favorites in those next 2 games before you have your big rivalry game at home. So big key here to finish the road trip strong in this one and then come back home and then head to Rutgers before that big rivalry matchup to close out January. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. We'll be back with the recap, of course, of this one. So thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.